Liverpool want Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak wants Liverpool. Newcastle want Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak does not want Newcastle. It's all very awkward. I feel for Newcastle, I really do. I feel for Eddie Howe, I feel for the Newcastle fans. Things have got very messy. I also feel for Alexander Isak. He wants out and he's unable to get out. It's all a bit kind of icky, really, the whole situation. As a Liverpool fan, I'd love to get Alexander Isak. And Eddie Howe says he can't involve Isak at Newcastle. And is there a way back? Before we get into this article on the BBC, I just want to read this quote direct from Eddie Howe. We've had discussions and it's clear at the moment we can't have him involved with the group, talking about Alexander Isak. I don't know how long that will be for. It's clear I can't involve him with the team at the moment. He is training later than the rest of the squad, as in he's training at a different time. There have been discussions since the tour. I don't think disciplinary action has happened. So why mention it? Unless you think he should be disciplined. He is here. So of course he has a future at Newcastle, because as long as he's contracted to the club, what are they going to do? Waste him? Sit him on the bench all the time? Or put him in reserves? Of course they'll play him if they've still got him when the season starts. From our perspective, we would love to have him back with the team, but the situation has to be right for that to happen. And I think the situation is that Liverpool go away, that Alexander Isak stops throwing his toys out the pram, stops going on strike effectively, and rejoins with the team. His teammates warm back to him and he starts banging in the goals. And there's a chance that can happen for Newcastle. But there's also a chance that there is no way back, and a chance that Liverpool will purchase this player for the 150 million circa amount. The fact that Alexander Isak is actually, it seems like he's going on strike. You know, they can't have him with the team. Newcastle are trying to make it sound like it's their choice to push him to the sidelines. I think it's that he's refusing to play for them. But whatever the true situation is there, it's clearly very messy. It's clearly been a split between player and club. There's a rift going on. And as we'll see in a minute, he's even refused to sign a contract. That has to drive his price down, especially as the days go by and Newcastle get more and more and more desperate to have two strikers at the club. They've missed out on Benjamin Sesko, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. They've missed out on him. They keep missing out on forwards. They've lost Callum Wilson. They need to beef up their striking department. Even if they got to keep Alexander Isak, they need to buy another forward. So time is running out for them. Now, if they were to lose Alexander Isak, that would give them somewhere between 110 and 150 million pounds to then jump into this market and buy two good, solid strikers for that money. They should do the deal, really. So the article on the BBC says, Eddie Howe says it's clear that he can't involve Isak at Newcastle. They rejected Liverpool's 110 million bid, and then he didn't make the Newcastle preseason tour with a thigh injury, but now that seems to be absolute nonsense, PR spin as to why he wasn't there. Then Howe previously warned no player could expect to act poorly and train with the group as normal. And what happened? He didn't train with the group as normal. Now, acting poorly, wanting to leave, maybe he refused to train with the group anyway. Maybe he refused to play for Newcastle in any of their friendlies. Howe has not closed the door on Isak, one day representing Newcastle again, but it has to be right for that to happen. We've had discussions and it's clear we can't involve him. Howe confirmed Isak has no current fitness issues, but he also hasn't been disciplined. I'd want Alex to be playing today, Howe says, because they have their opener against Aston Villa in 8 days' time, just over a week. I want him training tomorrow. We would love the player to be with us. Let me make that absolutely clear. There's no part of me that doesn't want that outcome. But I don't see the current situation changing for Aston Villa. If he doesn't think the situation will change before the season starts, what is the catalyst to make that situation change? And I think it's Is it the end of the transfer window? Well, there's a few weeks for that left. Because at the end of the transfer window, you'll find out, is Alexander Isak still a Magpie or is he a Red? And here in the comments on that post with Eddie Howe's full quote, someone's linking from Fabrizio Romano saying, Newcastle again tried to renew Alexander Isak's contract earlier this week, but the striker said no, and the transfer remains absolutely on. As I said at the beginning, I feel bad for Eddie Howe. I think he comes across like a good guy as well as a good manager. He's handling this situation as best as he can. He's being very diplomatic. He's still being strong enough so he doesn't look weak to the rest of the players in the squad, but he's also being a realist, and Newcastle need Alexander Isak. They don't get strikers of that caliber too often at that club. And they've struggled to get another striker, Gyökeres, Šeško. They're not getting these players wanting to go to Newcastle, despite the fact that they've got into the Champions League. That must be very frustrating for Eddie Howe. And it also must be scary, because if you lose Alexander Isak, even with the 150 million, if you cannot bring in strikers of a caliber that you want, that you need to be able to challenge in the Premier League, in all the cups, in the Champions League, then you'd just be throwing the money away, wouldn't you, on subpar strikers? Similar to what's happened with Man United over the years. As a Liverpool fan, though, of course, I still want Isak to join us. I'll be real here. I would rather have two solid centre-backs and maybe even another DM. 150 million is a lot to spend on one striker. Even if he is Prem proven and gets 20 goals a season, it's a lot of money when I know we're weak in defence. We're weak in defence because we've only got Van Dijk and Konate, an injury to one of those two, a long-term injury, and we are stuffed. So we need to beef that up immediately. Whether that's Guehi, whether that's Lukeba, whether that's someone else, we need to be bringing in one, at least, hopefully two, centre-backs. And I'd like that to be the priority, actually, for Liverpool. Behind closed doors, maybe it is one of their priorities. It's just not getting all the headlines like Alexander Isak to Liverpool is. And I also recoil a little bit. It kind of makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable when I see a player with 3 years left on his contract possibly refusing to play any of the preseason games, possibly refusing to play against Aston Villa, training alone, not honouring that contract. It's a 3-year contract. It's not like he has 1 year left or something. It's a 3-year contract. Because I'm an empath and I'll put myself in Newcastle's shoes, but also because what if he moves to Liverpool and in 1 year he has a blistering season and in 1 year Real Madrid come knocking and then he does that to us? I'm not saying he will, but it could happen. Anyway, all speculation aside, we'll just wait and see what happens in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching this video. Give me a like and subscribe if you want. I'd appreciate it, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Bye-bye.